God says, I will never talk to you if you skip me now. A big tragedy is coming your way. Don't skip me please, I am trying to save your life. Listen carefully. Right now, this moment is not just another scroll, not another voice, not another sound fading into the noise. This is a divine moment. It is holy. Something deeper is being stirred inside your soul, and heaven is reaching for your heart because God Himself is trying to stop something that is coming. He is trying to pull you out before the storm hits. He is trying to cover you before the weight of what is ahead crushes you. So do not walk away. Do not ignore this moment. This is your rescue. This is God stepping in with mercy before pain steps in with force. If you feel the stirring, if something in you knows this is not random, comment Amen to affirm. What you just read is not a warning spoken from fear, it is a plea from love. When God says He will never talk to you if you skip Him now, He is not threatening you. He is grieving. His heart is crying out because the space between you and Him has become wide, cold, and silent. You have wandered far, and though His love has been patient, He sees what is coming around the corner that you do not. And if you skip this moment, if you ignore this voice, you are walking unarmed into a battle that was never meant for you to face alone. Please, like this video if you feel your heart tugging right now. It might be the smallest act, but heaven sees every step toward Him. When God says a big tragedy is coming, He is not trying to scare you. He is trying to save your life. You may not feel the danger. You may think everything is fine. But that's the thing about spiritual warnings, God speaks before it breaks. He speaks before it falls apart. He sees what the enemy has been planning in the dark and He reaches for you now because He still wants to cover you in the light. God's voice is still. It is soft. It often speaks when everything around you is loud. If you've been feeling distant, disconnected, or spiritually dry, this message is for you. You are not listening by chance. This is a cry from the heart of your Father who is still waiting, still hoping you will come back before the silence turns to sorrow. He does not want to lose you. He does not want to stop speaking to you. But He is holy. He is not a background noise to your busy life. He is not a shadow you only turn to in crisis. He is your breath. Your life. Your protector. And without Him, what's coming will crush you. Comment 11:11 if you believe God is still calling you by name. There is a weight on this message because heaven knows how urgent this moment is. Some of you are standing on the edge. You have been ignoring the quiet nudges, brushing off the warnings, closing your heart to conviction, and living like time is on your side. But it is not. There is a shift happening in the Spirit. There is a season closing. A door is about to shut. And if you skip God now, you are walking away from the only covering that can hold back the storm. He does not speak like this unless it is serious. He does not send messages like this unless there is something you need to hear, right now. He is not trying to control you. He is trying to carry you. There is something around the corner that will demand more faith, more strength, more protection than what you currently have. And God is trying to equip you before the test begins. But you cannot be equipped by a voice you are no longer listening to. You cannot be protected by a God you are ignoring. And you cannot expect peace while walking outside of His presence. This is why He says so clearly, if you skip me now, I will never talk to you again. It is not rage. It is pain. It is the cry of a father who has watched you drift, and he knows the hourglass is nearly empty. You still have time. But not much. This is not the time to delay. It is not the time to brush off conviction and continue as if nothing is wrong. Because everything is wrong when your connection with God is fading. The enemy thrives in your distance from God. That's where lies are born, where depression festers, where fear grows. But the moment you run back to His presence, chains break, shadows flee, and heaven begins to fight for you again. Do you know how much God has been holding back for your sake? Do you know how many battles were never allowed to touch you because of His hand over your life? And now, that hand is trembling because He sees you drifting away, pulling back, getting numb to His whispers. He is trying to keep your life from breaking. He is trying to keep your future from collapsing. Tragedy is not always visible before it arrives. It hides. It waits. And it strikes when you are weakest. That's why God is crying out now, not later. He knows when your spirit is most vulnerable. He knows when the enemy is planning his move. And if you are not hidden in Him, covered by Him, led by Him, you will fall into something you were never meant to carry. There is no peace outside His presence. There is no direction without His voice. And there is no safety when you ignore the one who sees the end from the beginning. Right now, God is moving through this message like a wind through dry bones. He is stirring something in your soul. If you feel it, do not shut it down. This is not about religion. It is about relationship. It is not about being perfect. It is about being protected. God is not asking you to fix yourself. He is asking you to come close so He can fix what's broken. He is still speaking. But if you silence Him now, you might never hear Him again. People are asking why money is suddenly flowing into random lives. A leaked CIA discovery reveals a 7-second brain ritual that quietly rewires your mind for wealth. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, people are wiping out debt and stepping into luxury with ease. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. This is love reaching through time and pain and distance to grab your heart. Do not turn away. Let it break you. Let it pull you back. Let it open your eyes again. More is coming. But so is mercy. Stay with this until the very end, because there is something God is trying to deposit deep into your soul. Something you will need for the road ahead. Something that can only come from His mouth, through His voice, in His presence. This is not a random message or emotional echo. This is divine pursuit. This is the heartbeat of God calling your name with urgency, love, and truth, because He sees how close you've been to walking into darkness without even realizing it. He knows the cracks forming in the ground under your feet, and He is still calling before everything begins to collapse. When God says, "Don't skip me please, I'm trying to save your life," it means there is something specific He sees that you do not. You may feel calm right now. You may think things are manageable. But God knows how fast storms gather in silence. He sees the setup of the enemy, the quiet placement of fear, betrayal, sickness, loss, or spiritual confusion that is trying to wrap itself around you without your notice. That's why His voice comes now, sharp and clear, trying to cut through the numbness and noise that's tried to make your heart dull to His voice. Comment 222 if you trust that His voice is reaching you right on time. The most dangerous place for any child of God is the space where God keeps calling, and we keep delaying. That place becomes a trap disguised as peace. It becomes a delay disguised as rest. We say we'll pray later. We say we'll reconnect later. We say we'll give Him our attention when we feel more ready, when we are less tired, when we've figured out what we want. But life is not waiting for you to feel ready. The spiritual battles being stirred up are not going to pause until you find your comfort zone again. God is trying to get your attention because the next few steps in your life will either pull you into blessing or into loss. He wants to guide you, but He won't force you. He wants to speak, but not if you keep turning the volume down on His voice. He wants to lead you, but not if you keep insisting you know the way better. This is why He says He will not keep talking if you keep skipping. There is a holy seriousness in this. A sacred silence follows after God stops speaking. That silence is not peace. It's not relief. It's spiritual danger. Because when God is no longer correcting you, no longer stirring you, no longer pressing you to return, it often means you've already crossed too far without realizing how much grace was covering you before. If you still feel the urgency in your chest, if your eyes are stinging with tears, if your spirit is unsettled, it means grace is still reaching. It means mercy is still flowing. It means God is still speaking and giving you a chance to run back into His arms. And here's what you need to know with all your heart. You are not being rejected. You are being pursued. God is not pushing you away. He is pulling you in. But He's doing it firmly now, because time is short. His tone is stronger now, because too many delays have passed. His voice feels weightier now, because the enemy has moved closer to your doorstep than you know. God is not being harsh. He is being honest. Because sugar-coated messages don't save people from storms. Truth does. And this is truth wrapped in love. This is not about religion. This is not about checking boxes or saying all the right things. This is about the living God wanting your heart before the world tries to tear it apart. This is about the Father who still calls you chosen, even after all the days you've been distracted, lost, overwhelmed, and disconnected. He has not changed His mind about you. He has not walked away. But He is warning you now. Because He wants to preserve your soul from what the enemy has prepared in silence. Maybe you've been ignoring the spiritual signs. Maybe your prayer life dried up. Maybe your worship turned into routine. Maybe the Bible started collecting dust. Maybe your heart has been hard, or heavy, or full of questions. But even in that space, God has been watching with eyes full of mercy. And now, He is calling louder than He has in a long time. He is asking you to stop running, to stop skipping over what matters most. He is pleading with you to return, to slow down, to feel again, to hear again, to remember who you are and who you belong to. You are still His. You have not lost your place in His heart. But you are dangerously close to losing your sensitivity to His Spirit. And if that is lost, the tragedy that follows is not just external, it's internal. The tragedy of living numb. Of going through life disconnected. Of walking through fire without the hand of the one who shields you from the heat. You were not made to walk alone. You were not created to carry burdens that only His Spirit can lift. And you were never meant to face spiritual darkness without the power of His light covering you completely. That's why this message is happening now. Because something is near. Something is coming. It may not be seen yet. But it's real. And only those who stay close to the shepherd will be spared from the snares ahead. God doesn't speak like this without purpose. This is not just a reminder. It's a rescue. This is not just encouragement. It's a lifeline. This is heaven standing between you and the plan of destruction, holding out a hand that says, "Come back before it's too late." Why is everyone rushing to this 7-second brain ritual? Leaked CIA files exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the door to wealth fast. Verified by 4 top neuroscience labs, it's turning financial stress into abundance almost overnight. But this secret won't stay public for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it's deleted forever. And if you do come back, He will restore every broken place. He will heal the silence between you. He will fill your soul with peace again. He will guide your steps with wisdom. He will shield your family with angels. He will open doors no man can shut. He will pour out strength that makes no sense in the middle of pain. Because He is still God. He is still mighty. He is still your protector. And He still loves you more than you can comprehend. The weight you feel in your chest is not just emotion, it's the pressure of a soul that knows it was made for more than this silence, more than this distance, more than this dry and weary place. And God, your Father, your defender, your healer, is still speaking because you're not too far gone. He is still standing between you and the edge, calling you back before the darkness closes in. This moment is not ordinary. The urgency in this word is not for entertainment. It's for salvation. Because whether you see it yet or not, there has been a slow erosion happening within you. Piece by piece, the enemy has been trying to steal your peace, numb your heart, distract your focus, and exhaust your faith. It didn't happen all at once. That's not how He works. He comes slowly, quietly, carefully, so that you hardly notice until you're already weakened, already distant, already too tired to pray like you used to. Comment 333 to declare your faith is still alive, no matter how quiet it has become. God's warning comes in love, but it is real. The enemy has been planning, setting up traps, orchestrating moments to break you. And if you are not fully covered, fully awake in your spirit, fully anchored in God's presence, you will walk straight into pain that could have been avoided. This is not fear, it is foresight. God is not trying to scare you. He is trying to spare you. And the only way He can do that is if you stop skipping over Him like His voice is optional. He is not optional. His presence is not something you sprinkle into your week. It is not something to reach for only when your world falls apart. His presence is the only safe place you have. His presence is your shield, your clarity, your healing, your wisdom, your covering. And without it, every area of your life starts to bleed, whether you notice it yet or not. This is why he is speaking so strongly. Because he has seen how slowly the fire in you has dimmed. He has watched the way you've pushed him further into the background. Not out of hatred, not out of rebellion, but out of exhaustion, distraction, disappointment, and pain. Life wore you down. People hurt you. You prayed and waited and hoped and believed, and still things didn't happen the way you thought they would. So you drifted. You stopped expecting. You stopped listening. And in that silence, the enemy came close. God is breaking the silence now. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is not waiting for you to be strong again. He is only waiting for your heart to turn, even if all you can do is whisper, even if all you can do is weep. He can work with that. He can reach into brokenness. He can heal what religion could never fix. But you have to stop walking past him like you have all the time in the world. You do not. There is a shift taking place. Something is moving in the spirit. You can feel it if you pause long enough. There is a battle being stirred, and God wants you on the winning side. Not because you deserve it, not because you earned it, but because you are His and He still chooses you. He still fights for you. He still calls you worthy of being protected. But your part is this: return. Not just in word, but in action. Come back to the secret place. Come back to prayer. Come back to the voice that once set your heart on fire. Come back to the truth that pulled you out of darkness. Because nothing else can carry you through what is ahead. You may think you are strong enough to handle it, but God knows what's really coming. And you will not stand through the storm without Him. There are doors in the spiritual realm that are either being opened for you or shut against you, and the one who walks in silence, the one who keeps skipping God's whispers, ends up walking into the wrong one. You need divine direction now more than ever. You need to know which way to turn. You need to know what to let go of, what to run from, who to trust, when to stay, when to move. And only the voice of the Holy Spirit can give you that clarity. If you have lost your way, it's okay. But do not stay there. Do not let days turn into weeks, and weeks into years. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too late. The grace of God is still burning like a fire on the altar of heaven, waiting for you to come close again so He can pour it over your soul. Do not delay. Do not wait until you've lost more than your strength. Do not wait until the damage is done and your spirit is crushed beneath the weight of what could have been prevented. Come now. This is not about shame. This is about safety. This is not about guilt. This is about grace. God is not angry with you. He is aching for you. His arms are still open. He is still your Father. He is still the only one who knows how to carry the parts of you that you have hidden from everyone else. You were never meant to do this alone. You were never expected to fix everything by yourself. But if you keep skipping God, if you keep silencing His Spirit, you are building a life without a foundation. And when the shaking comes, and it will, everything not built on His voice will crumble. Is this the same CIA brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak reveals a powerful 7-second technique developed under secret research. Backed by neuroscience, people are moving from debt to wealth and luxury faster than believed possible. But this secret may be deleted soon. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. Let this be the moment your heart softens again. Let this be the moment your pride breaks. Let this be the moment heaven rejoices because you turn toward home. God has never stopped watching over you. Even when you felt alone. Even when you forgot Him. Even when you were tired, angry, numb, or cold. He was there. He still is. And He is waiting now. If your heart is trembling, if your eyes are filling, if your soul is burning, it means you're still alive in the Spirit. Don't let this pass. Don't scroll past the warning that could be your rescue. Stay here. Stay open. Keep listening. This is not just a moment of inspiration. This is transformation. You are not here by accident. This is divine alignment. Your steps have been ordered to hear what heaven is crying out for you to understand. God is still speaking, and His voice is reaching through every barrier, every distraction, every lie that tried to make you think He was done with you. He is not done. He is not silent. He is not distant. He is not giving up. But He needs you to stop giving up on yourself. He needs you to stop skipping the moments that were meant to heal you. He needs you to stop turning away when His presence draws near, because the longer you delay, the harder your heart becomes, and the harder it becomes to hear His voice when you need it most. Comment 555 if you still believe His voice is the safest place you could ever run to. There is something sacred about surrender. Something holy that happens when you finally stop fighting, stop hiding, stop pretending, and let the tears fall. When you let the walls crack and whisper, "God, I need you," something shifts in the atmosphere. Chains that were invisible begin to fall. Shadows that surrounded your heart begin to scatter. And peace begins to pour in like oil on an open wound. You don't need to have the right words. You don't need to know how to fix everything. All God wants is your yes. Your surrender. Your willingness to be real with Him again. He knows how tired you are. He knows how you've been pretending to be okay while your soul is breaking. He knows how you've smiled for others while crying alone in the dark. He knows how you've prayed prayers that felt like they went unanswered, and how you began to lose hope without telling anyone. And still, He's here. Still calling. Still reaching. Still waiting for you to turn toward Him, not out of fear, but because you finally realize there's no safer place to be than in His arms. This is the mercy of God in action. This is what love looks like when it refuses to give up on you. You have no idea how many battles He's already won for you in silence. You have no idea how many plans of the enemy He's already canceled. You have no idea how many nights He stood watch while you slept, how many dangers He shielded you from that you never saw, how many traps he destroyed that were set to take your joy, your mind, your future. And yet, we keep skipping him. We keep pushing him aside for things that will never fill the void inside us. But he's still here. And he's not backing down. There is a reason why this moment feels heavier than usual. It's because something is being unlocked in you right now. Something eternal. Something that is tied to your calling, your future, your destiny. God does not waste words. He does not speak without purpose. If he is stirring you now, it means you are closer to breakthrough than you've ever been. It means the tragedy that was trying to reach you has been interrupted by the presence of the Almighty. It means there is still time to realign, still time to return, still time to be restored. But that time is not unlimited. The heart that keeps turning away from the voice of God will eventually stop recognizing it. And once that happens, it becomes harder to find your way back. That is why he is crying out now. That is why he says with such urgency, "Do not skip me." Because each time you skip him, you get used to the silence. You get used to the noise of the world drowning out the whisper of his spirit. And eventually, what once felt sacred starts to feel optional. What once made your heart tremble becomes something you scroll past. And that is the greatest tragedy, not the pain you endure, but the distance that grows without you noticing. You were not created for distance. You were created for communion. Intimacy. Deep relationship with your Creator. That is where your identity is found. That is where your strength is restored. That is where your peace is made whole. Every other place is counterfeit. Every other path leads to emptiness. And yet, the moment you return, he restores everything. He is the only one who can take the ashes of what's been broken and breathe life into it again. He is the only one who can make beauty from the ruins. He is the only one who can touch your heart in such a way that nothing else matters. That is why the enemy fights so hard to distract you. Because he knows what happens when you actually come back to God. He knows the fire that gets reignited. He knows the strength that awakens. He knows the purpose that comes alive in your soul again. And he is terrified of it. That's why he sends the distractions. That's why he numbs your heart with entertainment and stress and endless scrolling. That's why he tries to make you feel like God is far, like he's angry, like he's disappointed. Because if you ever realized how close God really is, how much he still loves you, how powerful his presence is in your life, the enemy would lose all his power. Do you know why people keep whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A leaked brainwave method is spreading quietly and changing financial realities worldwide. Proven by neuroscience, this simple ritual attracts money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're so lucky. Click the link in the comments before it's taken down. Let this be your moment. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the hour where heaven rejoices because one heart came back home. You don't need to carry the guilt anymore. You don't need to pretend you're fine. You don't need to explain your wounds or justify your past. God already sees it all, and still, he wants you. Still, he chooses you. Still, he believes in who you are becoming. He knows the anointing over your life. He knows the destiny planted in your soul. And He knows how powerful you will become when you are fully surrendered again. But you cannot reach that place if you keep skipping His presence. This is not a warning to push you into fear. It's an invitation to step back into freedom. Because freedom lives where God's voice is welcome. Peace flows where His Spirit is honored. And life begins again where surrender takes root. Because He does not require your perfection, only your permission. He does not need you to be strong, just willing. And right now, your willingness is breaking chains you didn't even know were wrapped around your soul. Everything in this world pulls us to forget God. Life races forward, pain clouds our clarity, noise fills every quiet place where His voice used to echo clearly. And without even realizing it, we begin to drift. Not because we don't care, but because we're tired. Because we've been through so much. Because we were trying to survive. But in the process, we stopped feeding our spirit. We stopped guarding our hearts. We stopped listening. And the enemy has been feeding that silence with lies, with distractions, with fear and shame and false promises. Comment 12:12 if you believe God is still calling you back before it's too late. And yet here you are, still listening, still breathing, still being drawn back to the one who never left your side. That is grace. That is God's mercy holding the door open a little longer. That is your Father, still waiting at the edge of the road, scanning the horizon for the moment your heart turns around and starts walking home. And the second you do, He runs toward you. Not to accuse. Not to punish. But to cover you again in the robe of righteousness and wrap His arms around the child He never stopped loving. This is your moment. Not a moment to be perfect. Not a moment to say all the right things. But a moment to be honest. To say, God, I've been distant. I've been distracted. I've been weary. But I hear you now. And I'm not going to skip this anymore. Because this isn't just about what's happening now. It's about what's coming. God sees the road ahead. He sees the attacks that are forming, the choices you're about to face, the relationships that will either build you or break you. He sees the spiritual battles already moving in your direction. And His voice is coming now as your preparation, your warning, your covering. If you keep walking forward without Him, you will not have the strength to endure what is approaching. You may feel strong right now. You may think you can handle what's ahead. But God knows what the enemy has been preparing in secret. And He is speaking now to interrupt the plan before it unfolds. Do not take this lightly. You were never meant to fight these battles alone. You were never meant to carry so much without the presence of the Holy Spirit breathing life into your soul. God is not an accessory to your life. He is the center of it. And when you place Him anywhere else, everything else begins to fall out of order. Peace becomes unstable. Relationships become confusing. Purpose starts to fade. And the enemy begins to whisper louder than truth. But when you return to the presence of God, everything changes. Even before your situation changes, something in you begins to shift. A peace comes that makes no sense. A strength rises that wasn't there before. And most of all, a stillness wraps around your heart that reminds you, you are not alone. You never were. That stillness is where healing begins. That stillness is where God begins to speak again, not just to correct you, but to comfort you. To remind you who you are. To remind you what He's promised. To remind you that even after everything, He still has a plan for your life that is greater than anything the enemy tried to destroy. Some of you have been carrying the weight of trauma, betrayal, regret, and loss. You've buried it deep, thinking you had to stay strong and keep moving. But God never asked you to carry that alone. He never asked you to heal yourself. His arms have been open this whole time. His presence has been the place where every wound could be washed, where every fear could be replaced by trust. But you can't receive that healing if you keep skipping the moments that are meant to save you. There's a cost to silence. A cost to distance. A cost to living without the voice of the one who sees everything clearly. When you no longer hear Him, you begin making decisions from pain, not purpose. You begin reacting from fear, not faith. You start building walls that keep out the very healing you've been crying out for. But today, all of that can shift. Right now, you can say, God, I don't want to miss your voice anymore. I don't want to live disconnected from the one who knows me best. And just like that, He comes rushing in. No delay. No punishment. Just grace. Just love. Just His presence pouring over every dry, tired, broken place in you. You don't have to climb your way back. You don't have to earn it. His love meets you where you are, and pulls you back into fullness, into peace, into purpose. Why was this 7-second brain ritual hidden for so long? A leaked CIA document exposed a technique so powerful people are canceling debt and calling in wealth within days. Validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it helps attract money like never before. But this page may not stay online for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it disappears forever. But you must decide not to skip this anymore. Because every time you walk past the voice of God, you are choosing to walk into life without the very thing that holds you together. And if tragedy comes, and you are not rooted, not listening, not covered, you will break. God doesn't want that. He is not threatening you. He is trying to save you. This is not about guilt. This is about protection. This is not about being religious. This is about being rescued. Your life matters too much to keep skipping over what your soul is desperate for. Heaven is open right now. The Spirit of God is moving. The window is here. Don't let it close while you hesitate. Stay connected. Let your heart remain open. Because what God is about to do next in you, through you, and for you will require a closeness you cannot afford to live without. There is no place you could ever run to where His presence won't follow. No distance so wide that His mercy can't cross. No silence so deep that His word can't pierce. What you are hearing right now is not just a message, it's a rescue wrapped in love. It's God Himself calling out before the storm, before the breakdown, before the heartbreak, because He sees what's coming and He refuses to be silent. You might not realize it yet, but there's something holy about this moment. Your heart is softening. The walls you've built from disappointment are starting to crack. The numbness that crept in through all those painful seasons is starting to melt. You are beginning to feel again, and that is not weakness, it's healing. That's God waking up your soul again, pulling you out of the fog, breathing into the parts of you that were growing cold. His love is relentless. His pursuit has never stopped. And He is not going to leave you now, not when you are finally beginning to listen. Comment 777 if you know in your heart that He's still fighting for you, even when you couldn't see it. You have been through things that tried to silence your worship. You have faced situations that shook your faith and made you question why you even believed at all. And yet here you are, still reaching, still hoping, still desperate for the presence that once brought you peace like nothing else ever could. That ache in your heart isn't emptiness, it's your spirit crying out for home. Crying out for God. Crying out for the voice that formed you, the hands that carried you, the love that never let go. You were never meant to carry this life without Him. You were never created to walk through the fire alone, to stand in battles without armor, to make decisions without the wisdom of His Spirit. And yet that is what happens when we keep skipping the one voice that actually sees the full picture. We listen to everything else, our fears, our wounds, the opinions of others, the distractions of this world, but we silence the only one who knows how to truly protect us. That's why God is warning so strongly right now. Because when you keep skipping His presence, you are choosing to face life unarmed. You are choosing to walk into spiritual battles with no covering, no strategy, no clarity. You are choosing to live disconnected from the only source of peace that cannot be taken away by circumstances. And slowly, the enemy takes ground. Not always through disaster. Sometimes through comfort. Sometimes through routine. Sometimes through apathy that disguises itself as peace. You stop feeling desperate, and you mistake that for being okay. But deep down, your soul is withering. Your spirit is starving. Because no amount of success, no level of security, no person or plan can take the place of God in your life. You can't replace what only His presence can provide. And if you keep skipping Him now, you will walk into things you are not ready for. You will fall into traps that were never meant for you. You will lose battles that could have been victories. Not because God failed you, but because you chose to fight without Him. But He doesn't want that. That's why He is speaking. That's why He's been interrupting your days, stirring your heart, placing people and moments and words in your path that won't let you ignore Him anymore. Because His love won't stop. His mercy won't stay silent. And His desire to cover you is stronger than your tendency to run. But love doesn't force itself. Love invites. Love warns. Love stands in the gap and pleads, "Come home before it's too late." You are not just another person in the crowd. You are known by name. You are deeply loved. You are chosen. And there is a weight on your life, a spiritual weight that matters to the kingdom of God. Your life was never random. You have a calling that is still alive, even if it's buried under layers of pain and regret and fear. And the enemy has fought so hard to keep you from realizing it, because he knows what will happen the moment you fully surrender again. The moment you stop skipping God, something will awaken. Your prayers will carry power. Your worship will shake atmospheres. Your obedience will unlock miracles. Your yes will change lives. But none of that can happen while your spirit stays silent and distant. That's why this moment is so critical. That's why God is not holding back His words. Because there is a tipping point coming. A shift. And you must be on the right side of it. If you stay disconnected, if you keep silencing the one voice that saves, you will be left vulnerable to attacks that should never have touched you. But if you return now, fully, sincerely, and with your whole heart, He will place His hand back over your life in ways you cannot imagine. He will open doors no man can shut. He will restore what you thought was lost forever. He will heal what doctors couldn't fix. He will breathe on what seemed dead and forgotten. And most of all, He will speak again. Not just through others. Not just through moments like this. But directly to your spirit. Through His Word. Through His presence. Through the secret place where it's just you and Him, no pretending, no performing, no proving. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that flips lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth brainwaves. People are stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for very long. Click the link in the comments before it's deleted. That place is still open. That invitation is still real. But it won't stay open forever. Do not let the calm fool you. The storm can form quickly. And only those anchored in His presence will not be shaken. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Present with the God who loves you. Present with the one who still has more for you. Present in the moments that matter most, when everything else fades, and it's just you and the voice that knows exactly who you are. A door where the Spirit of God can now step in, settle deep into the rooms of your heart, and begin to do what only He can. Nothing is wasted with God. No moment like this goes unseen. Every second you sit under His voice is building something inside of you that no trial, no person, no force of darkness can take away. You're not staying here by accident. You're staying because the Holy Spirit is awakening something in your soul that religion couldn't stir. You're staying because your spirit knows that something is happening behind the veil, something too sacred to explain in words. God is speaking, and for the first time in a long time, you're not running. You're receiving. Comment 999 if you feel the pull of His voice louder than everything else right now. You've spent so long trying to keep yourself together. Holding pain in one hand and pretending to be okay with the other. Wearing strength on your face while carrying sorrow in your chest. But what if this is the moment you can finally let it all go? What if this is the place where the pressure breaks and the healing begins? What if all those battles were never meant for you to fight in your own strength? What if the silence you've been living with wasn't the absence of God, but the result of skipping the one place where He was waiting to meet you? God is still trying to save your life, not just your physical body, but your soul, your sanity, your joy, your identity. This is not just about tragedy you can see. This is about the tragedy that comes when you live disconnected from your source. The tragedy of waking up numb, going through the motions, feeling lost while pretending to have it all together. The tragedy of being surrounded by people and still feeling unseen. The tragedy of knowing deep down that you're not who you used to be, but not knowing how to get back to the light. God is reaching through that fog right now. He's not angry with you. He's not disappointed in you. He's not holding your failures over your head. He's holding out his hand. And all he wants is for you to take it. He knows every moment that broke your trust. Every prayer you whispered in the dark that felt unanswered. Every tear that hit your pillow. Every time you smiled in public while feeling hollow inside. And he never turned his face from you. He was there. Waiting. Watching. Whispering. And now, in this moment, he is drawing close again, more direct than before, because the time is short, and the battle is real. When you live far from God's presence, you don't always realize what you're missing. Life becomes noise. Days become survival. You forget what it's like to hear his voice clearly. You forget what it's like to feel his peace wrap around your mind. You forget what it's like to worship and actually feel your soul lift. That's how distance works, it numbs you slowly. And that's exactly what the enemy wanted. But God is cutting through the numbness. Right now, he is breaking the silence with his love. He is disrupting your routine with his warning. He is offering more than just another moment of emotion, he's offering restoration. But restoration begins with return. Not a surface-level, half-hearted return. Not a one-time prayer that you forget by morning. A real return. The kind where you bring your doubts, your questions, your wounds, your mistakes, and you lay them at his feet without shame. Because he already knows. And he still chooses you. Do you know how powerful that is? That the God of all creation, the one who stretched out the heavens and holds the galaxies in his hands, still looks at you and says, I want them. Even after the silence. Even after the wandering. Even after the rebellion. His love does not change. His promise is not broken. But the door does not stay open forever. That is why he's speaking with such urgency. Not to scare you, but to save you. Because if you keep walking without him, you will walk into darkness that you cannot get out of on your own. You will walk into decisions that lead to regret. You will give your heart to things that were never meant to carry it. You will open doors that the enemy will use to steal your peace. And when that tragedy hits, spiritual, emotional, relational, it won't be because God failed. It will be because you stopped listening when he was trying to protect you. But that doesn't have to be your story. You can turn now. You can surrender now. You can come home now. The protection you've been missing will fall over you like a blanket. The confusion will begin to lift. The clarity will return. The tears will still come, but this time, they will wash your heart clean. Because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And he is here, right now, ready to make you free again. You don't need to earn this. You don't need to prove anything. All you need to do is say yes. Say yes to his voice. Say yes to returning. Say yes to sitting at his feet again, where nothing else matters, and everything broken can be made whole. Because when God speaks like this, it's not just for a moment. It's for a move. A divine move in your life that sets you on a different path. A path of peace. A path of purpose. A path of power. But it starts here. With surrender. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest path to luxury? Leaked research reveals a simple ritual helping people attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, debt is dissolving and abundance is showing up fast. If you're seeing this now, you are God's chosen one. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. The noise of life may have dulled that awareness, but right now, His presence is breaking through all of it, reaching deeper than your thoughts, deeper than your emotions, straight to the center of who you are. You have no idea how close you've been to walking into things that would have shattered you. You've been walking past traps, some visible and some hidden, and yet mercy has carried you. And now God is not just warning you, He's pulling you. Not just to avoid pain, but to align you with something far greater than what you've settled for. The closer you come to Him, the clearer you'll see what's been happening in the spirit around you. He's been fighting for you in battles you never knew existed, but this next part of your journey requires something more: your full attention, your return, your surrender. Comment 1010 if you feel something stirring inside you right now that you can't explain. Some of you have been asking silently, why have I been feeling this heaviness, this emptiness, even though everything seems normal on the outside? Why do I feel so distant, so dry, so stuck, even when nothing visibly seems wrong? It's because your spirit has been surviving on crumbs. You've been feeding your life with noise, but starving your soul of God's voice. And now He's stepping in with truth that doesn't just sound good, it sets you free. God is telling you, I am trying to save your life. Not just from tragedy in the natural, but from destruction in the unseen. The enemy is patient. He weaves traps slowly. He waits for the moments when you are too distracted, too tired, too numb to hear the warning. And right now, you are at a crossroads. The path you choose will either draw you back under the shadow of God's wings, or leave you exposed to battles that could break you. This is why His voice feels louder than usual. Why you can't shake the weight of this moment. Because God knows what is forming behind the scenes. He knows what you're not ready for. And He is not trying to scare you, but to shield you. He is not a God of confusion. He is not a God of chaos. But when His people begin to drift, when hearts begin to close off, He will shake the ground beneath them, not out of anger, but out of love. Because if shaking your comfort is the only way to protect your calling, He will do it. If interrupting your normal is the only way to awaken your soul, He will not hesitate. That is how deeply He loves you. He knows your name. He knows your story. And He also knows your future. And if you stay in this pattern of skipping Him, skipping the Word, skipping the secret place, skipping prayer, skipping worship, you will walk into that future with no covering. No clarity. No strength. And that is when the real tragedy unfolds. Because the most painful storms are not the ones that come from the outside. It's the ones that happen inside. The quiet kind of falling apart. The spiritual collapse that nobody else sees. The slow fading of joy, the draining of faith, the loss of fire. But here's the miracle: God is not finished. He sees that spark still buried under the ashes. He sees that part of you that still longs for Him, even if you've stopped praying, even if you've stopped hoping, even if you've grown tired of waiting. He sees it. And He honors it. He is fanning that small flame right now, with every word you're hearing. With every beat of your heart that says, God, I don't want to keep living this way. Because this life was never meant to be endured without Him. You were never meant to carry all of this without His strength holding you up. You were never created to build a life that's full on the outside and empty within. He wants to fill you again. He wants to restore the part of you that still remembers what it was like to walk in peace, to worship without distraction, to feel His nearness so strongly that everything else faded away.